everyone, it's Evange. So today I'm going to show you how to make this dirndl skirt. Now, a dirndl, it's the name of the traditional dress from like Germany and Austria and Switzerland and all that area. But it's also the name of a skirt that's basically just cut straight and then gathered through the waist. And it's probably the easiest kind of skirt to master. So this skirt that I've made would work actually quite well as a dirndl for the German style dirndl, but also if paired with a petticoat, gives it a lovely bell shape, suitable for Lolita style fashion. So if you like this skirt and would like to know how to make it, please keep watching. Also, you can check out my website, www.evangesews.com, where I'll be posting patterns and step-by-step instructions. So to start, you need to take your measurements and cut out your fabric. Now, you're not really concerned about your waistband measurement at this point. You're more concerned about the length you want it to be. Now, on me, that's going to be about my natural waist to about my knee. That's just the way I like my skirts to be, but you can make it as long or short as you want it to be. And then, once you've taken that measurement, add 8 inches. Now, 8 inches is for the hem allowance, and that seems like a lot for a hem allowance, but more fabric in the hem means more weight, and more weight means it's going to drape a lot better. And that's very important when you have something that's like really, really gathered, because it's not going to drape nicely without it. It's just going to be kind of puffy. So really, the 8 inches in the hem is only really 4 inches folded over twice, but it is important. It'll give you a lot nicer looking skirt in the end. So I've just cut out 3 panels of fabric to be the measurement I want, which on me is 30 inches, which is, waist to knee plus 8 inches for the hem. And I've cut out 3 of these panels. Don't worry about the width, just worry about the length. I've cut out 3 of these panels. Now, a lot of people do a dirndl style skirt with only 2 panels of fabric. But I find that 3 panels of fabric looks infinitely better. It's like that secret ingredient almost, that one thing that, it's there, but you don't really notice it. It's not really obvious, but it just makes it so much better in the long run. So I've cut out 3 of these panels of fabric, and I'm just going to sew them together into a loop. So this is what this looks like. As always, I've left kind of a gap at the top of one of the seams to put a zipper into. And then I've sewn in a zipper. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions as to whether or not people could use elastic waistbands instead of zippers. And for most of the projects I've done so far, the answer is plain and simple: no, it won't work. For this one, you kind of can. I don't recommend it. An elastic waistband will never look as good as a regular waistband with a zipper. It is kind of possible, so you could do it if you like. I don't recommend it though. So now that this is all finished, I'm going to hem it. Most people save hemming to the last, but I like to do it right away. Remember, I left 8 inches at the bottom as my hem allowance. So it's just going to be 4 inches folded over twice. As you can see, I have hemmed it. Now I've just used, I don't know if you can see this, just a regular straight stitch. Usually for this kind of thing, I'd use a blind hem stitch. But in this case, I've just done a regular straight stitch because I'm going to be covering this in some lace, so you're not going to see it, so why bother with the extra effort of doing a blind hem? So here, this is the lace I've sewn on. It's Cluny lace, and it's got a ribbon running through it, and I've just used a tiny, tiny zigzag stitch to hold it on either side of the ribbon, and you can barely see it. You have to look really, really close. And that's just hiding the straight stitch I used to make the hem. So now the skirt still doesn't look done, but trust me, you're on the home stretch. You just need to gather it at the top and then sew it onto the waistband. So to create my gathers, I'm going to start by running 2 or 3 rows of basting stitches along the top raw edge of my fabric. And to create basting stitches, I'm using a plain straight stitch, and I'm making the stitch length as long as I can. So I've done 3 rows of basting stitches. The more rows of stitches you do, the more even the gathering will be. If you just do 1 row, what'll happen, it'll like pucker and twist. If you do 2 rows, that works pretty well, but I want the skirt to be really nice and even, so I've done 3 rows. And then you're going to locate the ends of the thread, and you're going to choose either the top threads or the bottom threads. Don't take both. If you take both sides of the thread and pull, you're just basically going to tie a knot. So just choose one side or the other. I've got the bottom. And what you're going to need to do is just pull. And you can see how it's making gathers, and you just do that all the way along. Next, you have to cut out a strip of fabric to become your waistband. The width should be 2 times the desired width of the finished waistband plus seam allowances, so that'll probably end up being about 3, 4, 5 inches. And then the length needs to be at least the length of your waist plus several inches of overlap. And then I've just added a little bit of interfacing, and I've marked off the exact length of my waist. So I don't know if you can see, but there is a marking there to indicate the exact length of my waist. And I'm just going to pin my skirt between those 2 markings. Try to ensure that all the gathers are fairly evenly distributed along the waistband, and then just sew. And then just trim off the extra waistband about half an inch out. Then on the other side though, you'll do it about 2 inches out because you have a bit of a flap that overlaps. So like that, and like that. And then you turn it so that it's facing right sides together, and then just sew up here to close the end. And then just kind of fold everything in and top stitch. And this is what you should end up with. Now I've also added a hook and eye to the little flap in the back just to hold it closed. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this tutorial, remember to subscribe, and also you can check out my website www.evangesews.com. Thanks.